Hello, hello. Welcome to Southern Sober and Sassy. Christy and I are here, and we're excited to be here, and we look forward to this conversation with you all.
Yes.
So, hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
What are we talking about, Christy?
We're
today?
talking about not being rattled regardless of who is standing in front of you. We are talking about being neutral regardless of who is standing in front of you. We are talking about not being affected emotionally regardless of who is standing in front of you. We are talking about dun 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 principles over personalities. You know, we hear that all the time in the program, and it can just really slide off my shoulders. Principles over personalities. You know what? Whatever. Nah, 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 nah. But we're really gonna break it down into black and white today, and um, the best way for me to explain it is I used to live my life with no principles and all personalities. Like it was I reacted and behaved per the person that was in front of me. You put my boss in front of me, I'm going to react a different way. You put my children in front of me, I'm going to react a different way. You put my ex-husband in front of me, I'm going to react a different way. You put my mom in front of me, I'm going to react a different way. Now, I respond and react the same regardless of who is in front of me or who I'm talking to. I am secure, I'm stable, I'm safe, I'm confident, and I'm not shaken. I am not rattled per the person who is standing in front of me. As a result of studying what a principle was, when I finished the steps, my sponsor said to me, we're going to focus on spiritual principles. I didn't even know what a spiritual principle was. And so the best way for me to explain what a principle is a principle is like a law. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. I can either mold myself to it and succeed and not have chaos and drama and be steady and have peace no matter what, or I can bounce off of that principle and not mold myself to it and have chaos and drama, instability, insecurity, which guarantees me back to the liquor store and the dope man's house every time. So, the easiest way for me to explain it is to take the name tag off. Why do you let your ex-husband talk to you like that, but you don't let your mom, and you don't let your kids, you don't let anyone else talk to you like that except him? I said, because that's how we've always communicated. She said, take the name tag off of him. We'll move on to your children. You know, I'm good with my friends. I'm steady. Steady with my friends, steady with my coworkers, steady with my boss, steady with my husband or ex-husband, or, oh, but the phone rings and there's my children. Oh, I'm emotionally jacked and react emotionally instantly, just like that. Take the name tag off your children. Total game changer. Total game changer. So, that took a while to learn. Principles over personalities, it's gonna make me cry, is the ultimate give back and pay back to God for what He has done in my life. Spiritual principles do not change. God has equipped me to be stable, secure, safe, and confident. And I need to act like it. He expects me to act like it in all of my affairs. And so now, if my ex-husband were to come walking through that door right now, I would not be triggered. Now, I might get a little on the inside, but I'm not going to react. I'm going to sit here like a confident, stable, secure woman how God has equipped me to be. I'm not afraid of him anymore. And if my children were to come walking through the door, if my mom or my coworker or my boss were to come walking through the door, I am the same person. 95% of the time. I'm still very human. But that took practice. That God doesn't make junk.
No, he does not.
And so
no, he doesn't.
there's the topic, Amy Cooper. What do you think about all that?
Well, we had this conversation this morning on the phone. And so I love this topic and take the name tag off. And I think too that, and it goes back to childhood for me, is I had to be this person here, and this person here, you know, depending on who I was standing in front of. So my chameleon-like skin has been changing since I was very young. And that is one of the biggest reasons when I started working on myself and got sober, that was the people-pleasing, the chameleon, and the codependency. And just the rush of anxiety, not fear, but true anxiety that rushes up in me when I have something going on and then it's like I have to make sure that all these people are okay for me to do what I need to do. And that revelation in this circumstance that I'm going through now, you know, it
got brought to light this morning.
It did, and it got brought to light, and the tears flowed. And, you know, I was talking to our sponsor, and I just said, I am sick of, I am sick of this shit. You know? I mean, because even when we get sober, we're human, just like you said. Mm-hmm. And I am realizing now more than ever that I am responsible. Nobody's responsible for me. I'm responsible for me. Yeah. And people are going to do what they're going to do, regardless of what I do. So I need to look out for me, because God's already told me he's going to look out for me. So when he opens these doors in front of me, I've got to stop hiding behind the door, asking for permission to come in when God's already asking these other. Here it is. I had such a behavior of asking other people if I could walk through the door that God opened.
Whoa. Whoa.
And didn't even realize it. Didn't even realize it. God opening up these doors and me asking for permission from other people. Can I do this? And that comes back to self-worth, and am I worthy? And am I able to accomplish? Well, God's already told me yes. That's why, Amy, no, I'm right here. I'm opening this up. And this just hit me.
Wow.
It's me seeking validation to do something God's already told me that he's asked me to do.
That's going to make me cry. That's some pretty heavy stuff right there, Amy Cooper. You know, one of the other things that we were also talking about this morning, I like talking about the spiritual part of the program, is, you know, when we are given an opportunity, when we are given a blessing, that is God opens a door. You know, there's two powers on this earth, good and bad, light and dark, God and the devil, and one of them's going to win. And when you start your journey with God or your higher power or the light or whatever you want to call it, the good power, it pisses the bad power off. And the bad power wants you back. And the bad power wants to derail those blessings. And the devil knows what gets to you more than anything else. And when he offers a blessing, and that blessing is right there for you to walk through that door, the devil comes in and tries to derail it. And he comes in. Is everything okay?
Yes, I was just making sure.
Okay.
Because this is very good.
And the devil comes in to try and derail it. And he comes in with what is going to get you the most. Normally, that is, for me, it's either my children or money. Normally, both of those are intertwined.
Yeah.
But it takes other spiritually minded people. When I'm going through it, it takes other spiritually minded people to surround me and see that when I don't. And it was just like her and I were having a conversation this morning. I was like, dude, I know that you love these people. But it's also the devil's plan to get you emotionally jacked up and to derail this massive blessing that you have been given. Recognize, the devil is a punk. And, you know, here's the thing. Here's reality. Is my children are fine and I have money and it's all good in the hood, and I'm going to step out in faith and go do what God has given me. Period. I tell my children, if you need something, call me. And I mean it, you know, but the devil wants you emotionally jacked up. And it takes other people to come in there and see what we don't see whenever we're going through it, to come in and let us down easy, but still tell us the truth.
Yeah. And the truth, it always comes out.
Yeah.
The truth comes out in the light.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't like to be hid in the dark.
But, you know, one other thing that I wanted to say is when we were talking about taking the name tag off. Okay, so early in sobriety, when I was learning to treat people the same and to be neutral and to be stable regardless of who was standing in front of me, that took a lot of time. And I fell on my face, y'all. And I popped off and I acted like a redneck heathen. I had to call, make amends again, make amends again. Well, I got tired of making amends. All right, then stop doing it. Who's a dumbass? That'd be me. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
What? When you get tired of making amends, it's not them. It's me. It's me. Stop it. That's when things really started to change. So then I started to practice it harder and practice it more and more and more. And I tell you what made it successful, and it was being quiet. It was my mouth. My sponsor told me, she said, you talk too much. Be quiet. Learn to be quiet. A humble woman will sit in the corner, close her mouth, open her ears, and watch it all go down. She said, don't say a word. Watch the dysfunction go down. Watch the chaos go down. I'll never forget the first time I did that. Very eye-opening. I was like, holy crap, I really don't have to participate in all of this. And it's going to be dysfunctional regardless of if I have input in it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need me to participate in order for dysfunction to go on. You know, our sponsor now, we have the same sponsor. She says to me, Christy, they don't have a program. God almighty, I need to hear that like you don't even know. Christy, they don't have a program. They don't have to get better. They don't have to be under the microscope of assets and defects in making spiritual progress. They don't have to change. You do. So you don't go back to the liquor store in the dope man's house. And I tend to forget that because I yearn for people to have this beautiful gift of spirituality and recovery. And here is the truth. The truth is that it is still a very dark world. And I can yearn for it all day long. But my expectations that other people are going to change needs to go away. Ugh. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. But I've gotten better at disappointment. That's a whole other thing about recovery is you got to get better at disappointment. Anyway, I got better at it by being quiet and just watching all that shit go down. Fast forward 17 years down the line, 16 years down the line, or a couple of years ago, so I had a lot of progress with spiritual principles and no name tags. I'd gotten very stable and secure, and then I got a new boss, and his voice and the way that he spoke sounded just like my ex-husband. And it triggered me just like that. And of course he was new. And I sat there and I did not react. And I did not respond. But I knew that I had been triggered. And all I said was, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I got off that phone. Lord have mercy. I had to walk 5,000 miles to process that and call my friends. And so anyway, second conversation, same thing happened. It triggered me. Third conversation, things toned down a little bit. I had to learn him. He was a new personality. I had to learn his personality before I could apply principles over personalities. I did not jump the gun. I hope this makes sense.
It makes sense.
Then I had to say to myself, self, what can I do differently? There's your golden question. Anytime you want something different, ask yourself that question. What can I do differently? Now, I speak up a little bit quicker, and I tend to try and talk first to where I give all of the facts to where he is more knowledgeable about what we're getting ready to talk about before he asks me questions. I have tried to go first and be like, boss, here's the deal real quick. And I lay out 4 or 5 facts, which has helped to simplify our conversations. It has helped to take the emotion out of our conversations. And it has helped me be more confident. So it wasn't him. It was me. I had to admit, 17 years sober, 16 years sober. Triggered. What can I do differently? You know. And it worked. But anyway, we're not saints. There's always that dang onion peeling back the layers. You know, we can tool along for years in recovery and just do everything be wonderful. Then how about if we just slice an onion in half and let's pull out the innards of that onion again, you know? And but it's the key thing about all of that is that I'm still willing. I'm still willing to grow. I'm still willing to get off the phone, call my sponsor, and be like, I didn't react, but I wanted to. And what I wanted to say was this, that. And I have friends that I can call and be a redneck heathen cussing sailor to, because I got to get that out of me.
Yeah.
And then I get readjusted and then I move forward. But I'm still going to get all my blessings. I got to work for them, but I'm still going to get them. I'm not going to let the devil take what is meant for me. I will not do it.
No.
Anyway.
No. And I think even just talking about this, it rang very true. And I am that work in progress. And I know that God opens doors and windows and garages for us. Opens houses for us. Businesses opens up, you know, it's not, we can't, there's more ways to get places than through doors and windows, you know, I mean, and I believe, you know, having principles before personalities has helped me even, you know, at meetings. Recently even.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was you, just close my eyes and listen. That way I don't have to see who's talking and just listen.
Yeah.
And I can tell you I don't want to dread going to meetings. Because every time I've ever gone to a meeting, and this is the truth, every time I've ever stepped into a meeting, I've always heard something I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm. And the devil wants you to get stuck on something that you don't like, a person that you don't like, or something that someone said in a meeting that you don't like, because it instantly closes your mind. You have an hour to be open-minded. And the devil comes in quick to close your mind to where that 1 hour is wasted.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is walk it. The ultimate principles over personalities in a meeting.
Yeah.
Is to walk in there, sit down, close your eyes. You don't see.
You just hear.
All you do is hear.
I love that.
But taking the name tag off, it takes time, and you know, it's kind of like ripping off that Band-Aid, man. When you get sick and tired of feeling that feeling of rejection, feeling that feeling of less than, feeling that feeling of you're a piece of crap. Well, when you finally get tired of that feeling, you'll take that name tag off.
And also the feeling of, like you said, rejection, but abandonment, and the feeling, or the fear, not feeling, but the fear of the unknown. And, you know, in the Bible, it talks about the fear 365 times. We can read about fear every day and how God's going to handle it. Because it's about the faith over fear. I mean, so, which is ironic that fear's in the Bible 365 times. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just so we can have every day know that fear, taking that name tag off, and principles before personalities takes time. You know, even in my work, when I work with people, Christy, and they relapse, I don't so much anymore. I used to internalize that.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? And that was my ego. I am not that powerful. And when I talk to families and they talk about their loved ones and I need to fix them, I said, with all due respect, your ego is running the show right now, because if that was your name, just like you said, take the name tag off. You know, and I know you've experienced this too, working with families and their adult children or their spouse or another loved one is stealing, robbing from them, and they will not do anything about it. But I said, well, what about if the neighbor did this?
Yep.
Oh, I would be calling the police right now.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah, the neighbor's going down, but if it's my loved one, we protect, because number one, we have shame, blame, and guilt that's unprocessed. Number two, we have that fear, and number three, the anxiety of the unknown and the fear of the unknown. And I see that very, it's rainbow bright shining right now. And that's when I just, that epiphany of knowing that, take that name tag off, because if it was anybody else stealing from you, you would already filed charges. But if it's your kid, we're just not going to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Co-signing someone else's BS.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Take your name off the bullshit checking account.
Yeah.
Take the name tag off. They're human beings. Your loved one is a human. And yes, it may be your child, but the last time I checked, and I'm not going to get all, holy rolling and religious. I'm very spiritual, but last time I checked, children are a gift of God. They are from God. And, we're giving them from God. I believe that. And He knows already what they're going to do. And He knows what we're going to do.
I also have to know, in conclusion, that when I take that name tag off, I am truly surrendering them to God, because I'm also giving them all of their responsibilities back. There you go. I said it. I'm not responsible for this. And I'm not responsible for that. And I'm not responsible for this. And I'm not responsible for that. And I have been pretending that I am responsible for it. And everyone is emotionally bankrupt because of it. So, as a result of me being balled up in a corner, an emotional, bankrupt, empty, hollow, crazy lady, how about if I do something different? And I'll let you take care of your problems, and I'll let you take care of your consequences. That if you get pulled over by the papa, that I'm not going to bail you out this time. And, not going to keep sending you money when I know what you're using it for illegally. Or I'm not going to keep paying your cell phone bill when I know that it's full of drug dealers. And shall the list go on and on and on. But the point is that God chose me to be sober. And He chose you to be sober. And a wise woman told me a long time ago, act like it. He chose you. Act like it. And that's not prideful. It's not ego. That is standing up for the pure love and devotion and attention that God gave me, and that I need to show Him. That I need to show God.
Right.
That I need to say yes, sir, to Him first and people second.
Yes.
Unbelievably painful when you take that name tag off, but no is a beautiful, healthy, wonderful, empowering word.
It is.
Bam! Circle.
So my name tag is hello. My name is Amy. It doesn't matter what yours is.
I have a sticker on my golf cart that says, "Hello, my name is I'm doing my best."
So yeah, I love this. Thank you, Christy, for bringing this topic. It brought out. It always, when we have conversations, it always brings something up.
I know.
You know,
I know.
it's like these aha moments.
You know, here's a wonderful thing about what Amy and I do together, sitting here doing these podcasts, is it's always raw. Nothing is scheduled and planned, and I mean,
We have no script.
we have no script, you know, and sometimes I know the topic in advance, sometimes I don't, and vice versa, you know, but sometimes she runs the show with the topic and the introduction, and a lot of the times it will bring up emotions in me that I am just like, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but not a lot, because I'm feeling it right here in the raw moments, you know, and vice versa. And, you know, I know that, you know, when you surround yourself with spiritually minded people, not sober people, spiritually minded people, there is an army wrapped around you like no other. And they know that when a name tag is getting ready to be pulled off, they're right there beside you. They got you, man. They got you. And it is a devotion like no other. So just know that when you're going through it, that you have Amy and I. When you're not going through it, you have Amy and I. If you have friends or ever want to do a chat or a Zoom or any kind of private meeting or anything like that on a particular topic, Amy and I are right here with you. We are right here with you. We want you to grow. We want you to succeed. We want you, you know, sometimes we walk with purpose down the path of recovery, and sometimes we are dragged, but I ain't getting off the path. I can assure you of that. So we are here for you, whether you are walking with purpose or whether you're being dragged. Just don't get off the path. And Amy and I are here for you. So reach out if you ever need anything.
Absolutely. And thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you for leading this topic.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank y'all. We have to wait. You got Memorial Day weekend is ahead. We hope you all have a safe weekend. You can reach us at info at pursuitofrecovery.com. Share the podcast, like the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
See y'all. Bye.